Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Mangalorian. It's a good day, always a good day to talk some Dragon Ball. I hope you're having a good one today. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you may be. Jordan is with me as always. It's Danny. Jordan, man, we are in the Moro arc. We are a year away from actually seeing this stuff get animated. Stuff from 2020, stuff from 2021 is going to get animated within a year or so. Maybe a year and a few months. We don't know the exact date right now, but it's crazy because I have not revisited the Moro arc since we did it, since I was covering it when it was first coming out, back in those days. And I did promise everybody back in January when this like the Galactic Patrol thing got announced, when that happened, I went ahead and I told everybody that I was going to be rereading the Moro arc, right?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Right, but I wanted to do the manga. I was like, let's just, because we were never going to do this originally. We were
Right.
never going to do it originally. We're just going to do the regular Toriyama stuff, but now we're in the Moro arc, bro.
Yeah.
And now we are, huh?
I'm super excited, dude. Like I'm.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
I
really-
haven't looked at these pages, bro, in years because I wanted to revisit it and I want to see, do I feel the same way about it that I did back then? Like, do I still feel that it had its problems, but is it better now? How do I feel about it? So, do you read these chapters frequently or these volumes?
I've reread. Yeah, I've reread all of Super multiple times.
See,
Yeah.
I haven't. I have not done that. Honest to God. After in 2022, when like the Black Frieza thing happened, then we had like the superhero stuff. Like, I didn't really think to go back and reread it because I was just waiting for the next thing. But now that we're kind of in this weird limbo period where there's no new chapters for a while, whenever that is, there you go. So,
So
let yeah.
Strawberry Moon asked me what kind of guitar pickups I use, and that's like a really interesting question because nobody ever asked me about my guitar stuff. But I prefer like Seymour Duncan pickups, but honestly, pickups and like the way pickups sound are so important in terms of like how you sound when you're playing a song that you can't really rely on one type of pickup. I have like a bunch of different guitars for a bunch of different sounds because I cover and play a lot of different styles of music. So I don't really use one style of guitar pickup, but I prefer Seymour Duncan. So
Okay. Seymour Duncan sounds like a brand of like cookies for kids' lunches or something. I don't know. So let's talk about Dragon Ball Super Manga Volume 10, Moro's Wish. I'm excited to get into it again. First of all, I love the art. I was always a fan of this art, this cover art, and there we have Goku and Vegeta with the Galactic Patrol logos on their gis, which is exactly what they're wearing in the promos for the anime.
yeah, it's
So,
cool seeing him in the Jocko outfit. Toyotaro draws him in multiple different styles of Galactic Patrol outfit. He draws them with the Jocko outfit there, and then later on he draws them with an outfit similar to what Miris is wearing. And I think they look good in both. But I really like that. I've had to draw that pistol a lot where I was doing that manga I showed you guys in the last stream. I had to like reference and look at that pistol that Miris uses a lot. And I really like it. I think it looks like something like the Namekians would make, or like it looks kind of like alien technology. It doesn't really look like, a stereotypical pistol. It to me, it kind of reminds me of like the look of like the Namekian houses and stuff. It almost looks like it's made of
yeah, it
granite.
does. You're right.
Yeah.
It's that like spacey style. So I actually agree with Lord Trident. I think you mean volume, but there's a lot that goes on in this volume. We're gonna get into it. There's a lot. I have not looked at this since we did our stream, or I'm sorry, our coverage before. But full transparency for you guys, Jordan and I separately, not together, we did sort of skim through the chapter. So I got to look at like some of the events that went on, but we'll be looking at it here for the first time in a long time. So there's a lot of big battles coming up in this volume. A lot of really important stuff that I actually really do want to see animated. Like I said before, everyone kept telling me, but Geekdom, man, if you read the Granola and the Moro arc binge wise, it works better. And I would kind of be like, oh, maybe there's truth to that. There is truth to that. So yeah. No, I am not high today, my friend. On Monday I was on like 2 hours of sleep. I will admit I did fall asleep in that chat when Heesh was showing me one of his videos. I was so tired, bro. I didn't know where the hell I was. But I am not high today. I am clean and sober. So I talked to Heesh already about it. It was rough because like I was running on fumes, but I promised Heesh that I would do that stream for him, and I did it for him. And maybe we'll come back and do a sequel real soon. So
let's just right off the bat talk about Moro a little bit.
Okay, we got Moro against Super Saiyan God Vegeta.
So in the last chapter, we talked about how with Dragon Ball Daima and like Moro being from the demon realm and stuff like that. I think it's really interesting that Moro steals ki and that he doesn't like build it up naturally the way that Goku and Vegeta do. Like he doesn't train to like get his ki, like he only steals it. And then in Dragon Ball Daima, they make a big deal out of the fact that the demons in the demon realm didn't know anything about ki. So
yes, but this is
I
didn't mean it. You go ahead. I won't interrupt you. I'm sorry. I did have to ask something, but go ahead.
I got to thinking about that after our stream, and I think that's really interesting because he's basically, it kind of plays on the themes of like spiritual cultivation. That's what Toriyama was trying to do with the demon realm. The fact that they didn't have ki is supposed to be a side of the fact that they've never spiritually cultivated themselves, which is why they're also demons. So Moro is a really, really interesting villain in that sense because he essentially kind of refuses to spiritually cultivate himself. And in that sense, he's like a really cool parallel to Goku because that's what Goku's entire life is spiritual cultivation and building the ki within himself. So it's really cool to like have a villain who refuses to do that. He refuses to like cultivate himself internally and develop, so to speak, like the way the mortals do in this new realm. So I think that's really cool.
One of the things that we have discussed a lot lately, Jordan, has been looking at Dragon Ball holistically. And that's going to apply here because now with the context of Daima, that changes the entire Moro arc. That's why I'm glad we're looking at it today. Daima introduced, not for the first time, but it introduced the idea that the people inside the demon realm don't really know what ki is, that they refer to as magic. And one of the most frequently asked questions, Jordan, that I've gotten when I've done these streams, Geekdom, Danny, whatever, is Moro from the demon realm? And even though it has not been confirmed, I would like to tell you that I think that it would make perfect sense if he was from the demon realm. He knows magic, he's very old, and he has the pointy ears. Those three context clues right there tell me that he's probably from the demon realm. The way that I think that this is going, and this is a great chance, folks, for the Galactic Patrol anime to tie into Daima without even having to use Super Saiyan 4. The idea here is that Moro could be one of the early people that crossed over into the multiverse, learned ki, but before he could really use it was sealed away by the Grand Supreme Kai. So that to me actually makes so much sense that Moro, because he's old. He's really old. So, like, would it not make sense that maybe he was born in the demon realm and crossed over? There's nothing, Daima doesn't, like, contradict this. It actually, like, sort of, like, strengthens the point.
Yeah, I agree with you. The only caveat in terms of him not being my only doubt in terms of him not being from the demon realm is that there are a bunch of beings from the demon realm who migrated into the mortal realm. So
Right. No, of course.
he could be like a descendant of a race who moved in, and then he was born in the mortal realm, but he's still a demon species from the demon realm. Like that could be how it works. And honestly, in some sense, that might be more interesting because that might explain why Moro's so fascinated with the idea of ki and why he learned like magic surrounding ki because ki is a new thing that the gods discovered when they came into the mortal realm.
Well,
So it
presumably, because we also had that discussion about maybe it existed from another realm that we don't know about yet. So that's also kind of up in the air.
Well, and this is something I don't want. I'm not going to talk about this too long, but this is something to consider. Okay, Earth is the only planet in Dragon Ball that calls life energy ki. Okay, you got to think about that for a
Well,
second.
life energy would be Genki.
Well, sometimes in Dragon Ball they just refer to life energy as ki in general, just in terms of like terminology from a scientific standpoint. Like if a
Mm.
character who doesn't have an understanding of ki talks about ki, sometimes they'll just say life energy in the comic. But you have to think about the fact that whenever Vegeta and Goku first met, Goku was the one that introduced Vegeta to the concept of ki. Aliens didn't understand anything about that. They didn't know anything about it. Now, I'm sure they've studied it at this point, but they didn't know anything about that.
Well,
Now,
Vegeta knew how to use it, but he didn't
yeah,
know how to sense it. That
he
was
didn't
his
know how
thing.
to spiritually
And how to,
cultivate it,
right, lower it. Yeah.
and he didn't call it ki. It was just energy to them. Now, the gods also call it ki. So that seems to suggest that Earth's culture, which we know that Earth has gods that teach the mortals martial arts. We know this. There's a hierarchy of gods, like a connection between the highest ranking of the gods all the way to the lowest.
And
And Goku has
Toriyama kept
been,
expanding it year after year.
yeah, and Goku has been the product of that. He's the product of like moving up this like all the way till he gets to the top of the ranks. But the fact that the gods called it ki and that
George.
that is their
Oh,
culture
there
and
he
their
is.
understanding of the concept, the fact that the gods called it ki and that's their understanding of the concept and that bled down onto Earth seems to suggest that Earth, more than most planets, has been affected by the culture of the gods, right? It's almost like
Yes.
Earth
I
is
mean,
like
it has though. And because of Goku himself.
right. But anyway, I
Yeah.
find that very interesting, and I think that might have something to do with Moro's fascination with ki. Maybe he is a demon who just like kind of grew up in the mortal realm and saw that the gods were using it as a power source, and because he saw that the gods were using it as a power source, that's why he tailored his
Of
magic
course. Yeah.
to
That's what
be
I'm
able to
saying.
use.
That's
Yeah,
literally what I'm saying. That's literally what I'm saying. He could be so old that maybe he was even there when Ki was first being sort of utilized in the early days of the universe. Again, unfortunately, as we've said a billion times on these shows, Akira Toriyama's no longer with us, so we're probably not going to get an answer directly from him. Maybe there's notes. Maybe Toyotaro can fill it in or Akio. Personally, though, what I'm trying to tell you guys is don't be surprised if they do tie in Moro with Daima. In fact, I think maybe it might be worth doing a stream when we get closer to the Moro arc. Not a Mangalorian, but like a Super Magic show or something where we go
yeah.
real deep on whether or not Moro is a demon. Because I think that that would be a good idea. And by the way, I
Yeah.
like the way you think, Mizi Kame. You're thinking like you belong here, bro. Mr. Yepez02 with the $5. Thank you so much for the generous super chat. He says, "Do you think they will have a throwaway line about SSJ4 and DBS Beerus don't want to hear about canon timelines anymore?" Well, I hate to break it to you, my friend, but you are person number at least 350 that asked that question, and a lot of those were super chatted. So I appreciate you guys for the generosity, and I'm going to give you the exact same answer that I gave everybody else, bro. I think they could. I think they should. I think that we should actually see Goku turn Super Saiyan 4 against Beerus, actually connect with a hit, but Beerus still mollywops him. I would like to see that. That does not mean that it's going to happen. So if the question is, Danny, is it going to happen? I don't know. Do you want it to happen? I'd be perfectly fine with it. If not, maybe Goku can say something like, oh, I haven't used that form since the Demon Realm. I don't know if I can tap into it anymore. Just that right there would make me happy.
Yeah, I have my doubts because I don't think they've given Toyotaro that much power yet.
Well, it wouldn't be Toyotaro. DBS Beerus would be technically Toei and Akio.
Yeah. I'm just saying that Toyotaro, to me, is the only person who would care enough to step in and be like, we need to add this line for continuity purposes.
Well, Akio might. Akio might. Because he
might. He might.
But not as much. But none of these guys care that much about continuity. We're talking about continuity. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Toyotaro, I think, does, because he tries his hardest to like make Toei's continuity and Toriyama's like kind of meld together. Like, he does try. He does put like an active effort in. But like, it's just because Battle of Gods is a Toriyama product, right? It's a Toriyama product. I think they're just going to be more skeptical to make changes like that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't want them to change the original vision. However, Toriyama changed his own original vision. So it's like, as long as but here's the thing, Jordan. I don't think it would hurt if, like Mr. Yepes says, if Goku just said, if they don't want to do it, at the very least, just have Goku say, I haven't been able to access Super Saiyan 4 since the Demon Realm. I don't know if I can use that form anymore, to at least have that little tiny bit of continuity.
Yeah.
It's tiny. So, okay. Hayden Beer says, do you think Moro will have two different voice actors for the two versions of him or just one? Well, there's actually more than two versions of him, but I know what you mean. You mean old GOAT Moro and then Moro OG73. I think it depends on who voices Moro in the anime version and how talented they are. So I've told this story before. We're going to get back to the manga in a minute, I promise. I've told this story before, guys. Skywalker 7301, I agree with you, bro. Okay, I've told this story before. So back in 2020, I was talking to Raleigh Pickens. Raleigh Pickens is the executive producer of the Dragon Ball Super dub. And I was talking to him about Moro. And I was like, have you guys thought about who you're going to get to voice Moro? And he was like, oh, you mean the GOAT guy? Because he's not really like keeping up with like we were. When you work in the industry, bro, like when you work at the dubbing studio, unless you're like a VP, you don't know when things are coming until they come. And look how long it took, 6 years, right? But I told him, I said, why don't you get Peter Cullen to voice Moro? Peter Cullen is the voice of Optimus Prime, who also is the voice of Toonami. You know, with the Garlic Jr. saga. I think his voice is perfect for Old Man Moro. But Raleigh gave me a really good response. He said, first of all, he's out of our price range, which he's out of their price range. This is a top dollar guy. And secondly, he's also like, I think he's like 90 now, Jordan.
Wow.
Like he's how old is Peter Cullen? I
guess
bro?
That would be appropriate though if he did.
Yeah,
voice old Moro.
No, but Jordan, you got to remember though, he not only does he have to voice him in 84. He's 84 years old. He's 84 years old. Okay, but Jordan, you got to remember something, dude. It's not just voicing Moro in the anime. He's got to voice him for all the video games. He's got to voice him for all the extra shit later. So flashbacks. So like, you see what I'm saying? It's one of those things
he's got
where
that Nozawa level energy.
the Genki. Yeah. Imagine if they got Liam Neeson. Brother, that's way out of their price range. Now listen, I've talked about this publicly before, but it's been a while. They wanted to get Michael B. Jordan to play Broly in Dragon Ball Super Broly. I've told that story a while ago. Yes, Michael B. Jordan, the same one. But guess what happened the year that they tried to get him to play Broly? Creed 2 had just come out, and Black Panther had just come out. So when you're in a Marvel movie, my friends, that paycheck has a few extra zeros in the back of it. So when Funimation saw what he was asking for, too rich for my blood.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys, as much as it's fun to think about, let's be real. Moro's voice actor is probably going to be somebody young, like the people they got for Daima, who can play him for the rest of 10 years.
Somebody who's got enough range to do both old and young Moro.
Right. And they can always do voice modulation and shit like that. The point I'm trying to make is it'll be fun to see what they do on both the Japanese and English side. Agree with your opinion. Always working my BG. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you. I'm always working as well. Trust me, I can relate. Even when I'm on vacation, I'm working. All right. Speaking of Moro, let's get back to it. So Mirrors, it basically reveals that he can steal the energy from planets. Now, if you're thinking, isn't that kind of what Galactus does? Yes. Galactus eats the planets physically. Moro turns them into energy and then sort of condenses them. Yeah, he condenses it and then he eats it. But it is very much like Galactus. The only difference is that Galactus is cursed.
There's another parallel here.
Well, wait. I was going to say Galactus is cursed. Moro's just evil. What's the other parallel?
There's another parallel here. The gods in Chinese mythology would create elixirs or things called, like there's this thing called the Pill of Immortality, which it actually doesn't make immortal, but it make them immortal because they have to eat more of it all the time.
Yeah, like Senzus.
Yeah. It's basically like the neglect of spiritual cultivation. You're creating an outside source of ki for you to consume, so that way you don't have to spiritually cultivate yourself. Like at the beginning of Journey to the West, when Sun Wukong attacks Heaven, he's kind of framed as like a villain, but you find out the gods have been like eating pills of immortality and fruits of immortality and stuff like that. And as a side effect of that, they don't have to really spiritually cultivate themselves in the way that they used to. So when Wukong like comes into heaven and he like eats all the peaches of immortality, all the pills of immortality, and he like ransacks all of heaven.
Like what Yajirobe does.
It's almost like a reset. He's almost like resetting the balance of the universe, because now the gods have to like spiritually cultivate themselves, and they can't rely on these pills of immortality or these fruits of immortality and stuff like that. So the fact that he's like consuming ki and then it's like giving him like life, like it's making him younger, reminds me a lot of the Chinese gods, because that is what the Chinese gods from the Chinese myth, particularly the ones in Journey to the West, used to stay immortal was ki specifically. So
there's a lot of there's a video I'm working on. Remember how I said I'm always working? There's a video I'm working on. It's going to go into the secret history of Moro that I have not talked about before in any of the videos I've done. And there's a lot of not only Eastern I guess mythology, or
mysticism.
Yeah, right. But there's also a lot of biblical stuff too, because in the Holy Bible, the goat is representative of evil. The Baphomet. Moro is basically like Baphomet. He is not a good guy. In fact, the only real, when you think about it, right, outside of villains from Z, the only real evil villains they faced off against in Dragon Ball Super are basically Moro, Golden Frieza was from Z, but Moro, Goku Black, and Gas in them. Like, that's it. The Heaters, that's it. And maybe Cell Max if you want to count him. So, Red Ribbon Army. So what I'm trying to say is that Moro is an evil villain. This is not a redeemable character.
Yeah. I really like how he talks. I like how Moro talks. I like how he says, "Oh, you're not entirely ignorant then." I like his the turn of phrase. The way he speaks is very refreshing because he's almost like I don't know how to put it. He comes off as like ancient and like old.
Yeah, well, he
And like
is.
you know.
Yeah,
Well,
he's
yeah, I
like
know.
an
It's just
evil. He's like an ancient master, but an evil version.
yeah, yeah. It's just like he speaks as though he's from like an era of God, and I think that's cool.
Yes. Well, also, real quick, somebody in the chat was suggesting Chris Sabat. Look, bro, Sabat already voices Vegeta and Piccolo. I'm not saying he wouldn't be good at Moro, but I think somebody else should get a crack at it. I'm just saying. He does way too many lines already. The Gold Germ. I'm sure he would agree with you. I personally would like it if Super Saiyan 4 reappeared later on in Super. I would like it to be achieved similar to GT. It's not gonna happen like that, bro. Look, okay. I'm not saying that it won't ever come back. I'm saying that it's not gonna be like GT because the way that Goku got Super Saiyan 4 in GT is completely different than how he did in Daima. Like totally different. Like completely different. I actually would like to also do a stream or a video maybe sometime later this year, and I want to discuss that topic as a full video. I don't want to get too deep into that now because we're only a couple pages in and we have a full stream ahead of us. But
Yeah.
I think I'm going to do a whole video on that at some point, so stay tuned for that. Najim Burris says, this is why, in my opinion, Neil Kaplan, who voices Madara Uchiha, would be a good candidate for Moro's voice actor. Madara from Naruto, right?
Yeah, I've heard that.
I don't think I've ever. Me too, but I don't think I've ever heard that dub voice.
He does have a cool voice.
I don't see why not, bro. You know what? I like what 10 Double says. Tony Todd from Candyman, if he was still alive. He had a great voice. You remember his voice?
Yeah, I remember him, yeah.
He had the raspy fucking voice, bro. Yeah, I said this earlier, bro. But again, he's 84. They're probably going to get somebody young who can do an old man. Heish could do an old man. I'm not saying it will be Heish, even though that'd be something. So, Moro powering up here. I love the way he does it because it mimics how Planet Namek looked when Goku was fighting Frieza, with the explosions, like the planet falling apart. Vegeta's like surprised to see him manipulate energy like that. And bam, like he gets knocked away. So here's the thing about Moro, right? Here's the thing about Moro. Moro as a villain in this current state, not later on, we're talking about just right now, is not physically that powerful. It's all about magic and ki control. He's basically if you look at his attributes, right? His physical strength is relatively low because he's old, but his energy projection and ki manipulation is super high. So
yeah, and he is so gnarly looking in comparison to like the other Dragon Ball villains, bro. Like the way Toyotaro draws him in this form, particularly when he's at his oldest, he is like ridiculous. It's almost like it's the closest Toyotaro could come, I think, to like a King Piccolo level design. Like he is like very gnarly looking for a Dragon Ball villain. Like
people said
he's creepy and scary looking.
Yeah, really and I'm in the chat. People said that Moro's basically a combination of Cell, Buu, and Piccolo, and that's 100% true. That's exactly what he is. Now, is that derivative? Maybe.
Well, I would argue even Vegeta. Because he's on planet Namek, ransacking Namek right now, exactly like Vegeta was whenever he was trying to attain immortality on planet Namek all those years ago. This is basically like Vegeta facing his past in a lot of ways. Because
there's a part coming up where he really faces his past.
Yeah, Moro is doing what Vegeta was attempting to do to the Namekians. So, that's really cool too.
Yeah, and I want to actually get to Moro's comments here. He says, with this move, I attack with the life energy of the very planet we stand on. The magnitude comes from not from my own power, but from the planet itself. So Moro can manipulate energy that isn't even his. That right there makes him more dangerous than anybody they've ever faced before him. And that's something I want to hammer home to people, because when I did my recap of this arc with Unrelent Gaming, Emish, and Opie, one of the things that we kept bringing up over and over again was the fact that Moro was more interesting in the first half of this arc than in the second half. And I'm probably going to feel the same way, I think, this time. I love the idea of a monster or of a villain that can do shit like this, because it's a new challenge for Goku and Vegeta. You know what I'm saying? What were you saying?
Yeah, the way that, and also to me, it kind of feels like Toyotaro just implemented his best ideas in terms of like how to make Moro dangerous when he was weak at the beginning of the arc, and because of that, well, he progressively has to adapt to the fact that Goku and Vegeta are using something other than magic. Like, he basically just becomes a copy of Goku by the end of the arc, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah,
But
we'll get to that. And there's deep shit with that too.
yeah, but what I find very fascinating about this little exchange is the fact that Moro specifies that the reason he can do the type of damage that he's doing to Vegeta is because of just how potent the life energy of the planet is. And that seems to suggest that the planet itself has more life energy than Vegeta, and because of that, that's why the planet's life energy can do damage to Vegeta.
But that makes sense if there's a planet filled with living beings. Vegeta's just one guy.
Right. Well, he's a one guy with God Ki, though. And that's what I'm saying. It makes the planets, in terms of how much energy they have, ridiculously overpowered. Now, I don't want to get into this too much, but I am going to talk about why planets have Ki for a second, just for a second. Okay.
All right. I mean, we probably won't talk about this again, so we might as well.
So,
at least not till the end. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Not till the very end.
In Chinese myth, they believe that we all have a mini universe inside of us. Okay.
Yes, I've heard this.
Shout out to Derek Padula. He talks about this a lot. The universe.
Happy birthday this week for Derek.
Yeah, happy birthday, bro. We appreciate you a lot. But anyway, so the mini universe inside of us is our Ki. The universe was created as a side effect of yin and yang energy coming together, and the universe itself is made out of Ki. So we are all a contained version of that concept. We all have Ki within us that is being produced the same way that the universe was created. And the planets and things of that nature are just, it's almost like the universe is the biggest version of this concept, and then the planets are almost, or the stars are almost like the next level of this concept, and then it just progressively works its way down until you get to us, human beings. So that's the reason that, this concept is being used the way it is because it also kind of reflects the cosmology of the Dragon Ball universe, because Dragon Ball does kind of, maybe not one-to-one, but it does adopt a lot of the foundation of like Chinese mythology and how they explain what the universe is and what everything's made out of and the foundation of everything. So that is, in some sense, they're also expanding on the cosmology of the Dragon Ball universe by pointing out that the planet has that much Ki in comparison to, just humans or Saiyans or just smaller life forms. So I think that's really cool too, because it is kind of like expanding on cosmology. Just people, you kind of have to put two and two together and do some research as to what Ki actually is. But if you put two and two together and you do some research, you'll find that this actually is revealing a lot about how Toriyama envisioned, how the universe itself was structured and came to be. He's using Chinese mythology as the basis for it.
But here's what's funny about what you just said. It's Chinese mythology and theories and things like that, but it's actually true. And here's what I mean by it's actually true. We know for a fact that, and this has been proven through science, you can't argue this. This is no longer an arguable point. It's all around us, kind of like the Force, which is also literally taken from Ki. Literally.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So we now know what the Chinese mystics did not know. We know that we're composed of cells, and our cells are composed of atoms, protons, neutrons, electrons, and subatomic particles. Every one of those atoms, protons, neutrons, and electrons, every single one of them is energy. Literally, everything is energy. This, the water, the fact that we can drink water and it converts into fuel for our bodies. How does that even make sense? Our bodies are built to take water and food. I don't have any food around here. And like convert it into life energy. And so the point I'm trying to make is, no, it's not exactly. We can't shoot fireballs because we haven't learned how to ignite the particles around us with our bare hands. We're probably never going to learn how to do that. But who knows, maybe in the future. But we know for a fact that planets have energy, photosynthesis, solar energy. These are all, there's hydroelectric. Jordan, there's energy everywhere. Everywhere. The sun, everything gives us energy. This is legit. It's been proven by science. And you know where else there's energy? In space. Every star, every asteroid. So the ideas, the principles of Ki, the force, is real. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not going to go down the theological route. I don't think that this proves God. I think there's two different ways to look at it with that. But I do think that the reality is that we literally are composed of protons, neutrons, electrons, etc. That's energy.
Yeah, that's good insight. That's really good insight.
That's what it's, but it's real, bro. Like those Asians were way ahead of their time, bro.
Oh, heck
like
yeah, they were. Heck yeah, they were.
they
I used to hear
they
the
had
word
secrets.
alchemy. I used to hear the word alchemy when I was younger because I played a lot of RPGs, and I used to hear the word alchemy and think it was kind of lame because it's like making potions and stuff like that. But after I got older and I learned about like Chinese, like Taoist alchemy and stuff like that, it became so much cooler to me because like, you know, you can become immortal using alchemy. You can make the elements of the universe in itself using alchemy, and that's part of what the ancient Chinese people were understanding was like all the different little ingredients of the universe that make up, you know, the different elements and exactly how that happens and like what the different combinations of them are. Very similar to like the scientific periodic table and stuff like that. They were studying that stuff 5,000 years ago, and that's
yes. I do believe that this is a whole other topic. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but I do believe that the people of the ancient world were way smarter than we give them credit for.
Me too.
Way more intelligent. These guys were not just a bunch of stone men. No, they were pretty smart. Kiryu says, happy to see y'all read Peak. We already did read Peak, bro. It's called the original 42 volumes of Dragon Ball. Listen, I'm giving this arc another chance, but I can safely tell you it's not going to hit me the same way the original stuff did. It just can't. There's just something special. So Vegeta takes to the air to avoid Moro's attacks. It's almost like he's shooting lava at him. That's kind of what's going on here. I can't wait to see this in the anime, bro. This is going to look sweet with all the colors.
Yeah, this is going to look
I dropped a video yesterday about how they're going to be doing CGI elements, and I think this might be a good opportunity so they can make the lava look like, you know, I don't know. They can just do it like they did for the Namek saga, though, like when Namek's going to blow up. So Moro here has complete control of this fight. Vegeta is on the ropes, and Moro's not even doing anything. And because he's basically creating these, like, I guess you can call them lava traps. And Vegeta, he's using them as like little force fields. So anywhere Vegeta goes, the lava comes up. And then here we have him using the energy here and blasting Vegeta, knocking him down. So even with Super Saiyan Godspeed, it's not enough. So basically,
Vegeta is pulling a really smart move here. He's letting Moro think that he has the upper hand, so that way Moro will trip up and tell him too much information. And one of my favorite things about this arc is that, and a lot of people don't catch on to this, but Goku and Vegeta are the good cop and the bad cop. And they play on this a lot.
They've done that a lot.
Yeah,
They've done that a lot.
particularly in this arc, there's a lot of tropes when it comes to like Chinese police films that are implemented in this arc, because this right here is a trope in a lot of like, well, I mean, in American police films as well. But what'll happen is the bad cop, because he's so he's hot headed, and he charges into the situation. What he does is he kind of makes it seem like he's like struggling. And then what happens is the villain like reveals his intentions, and then the good cop comes in and like helps him and saves the day. So this is like a trope that we're seeing play
I was just
out.
gonna say it's a trope
from a lot of police films. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what Vegeta's doing here. Is like, oh no, I think I've lost, and now Moro reveals that he has no limits to this ability. He can do it as long as the planet has energy, he can continue to do this technique. Right. And Vegeta still has, other tricks up his sleeve. Now, I love this right here. Moro literally creates a tidal wave of lava. Like, this is going to look awesome in the anime, bro. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing this episode get animated. Vegeta's going to use his energy just to kind of blast it away, because it's still energy on energy, even if it's energy from the planet. And then, of course, that was a distraction, so Moro can come up behind him. And notice, Moro's not throwing a punch. Moro's not throwing a kick. That's not how he fights. He's old, and he's brittle, and he's not physically strong. Instead, what does he do? He flings lava at Vegeta. Bam! Vegeta's actually trying to hold it back with his hands. And Vegeta's asking, well, what are you going to wish for? Because he wants the Namekian Dragon Balls. And he basically says, he's like, all this power you possess, isn't that already enough? Moro says, hardly. At the height of my power, you would have been an insect before me. So it's the same thing that Demon King Piccolo did. When he was younger, he was stronger. And then it's the same thing. And he actually reveals that him being confined for so long is why he's like that. It's not like, it's not just that he's old. It's that he's rusty.
Yeah.
Very rusty.
Yeah, and he can't use the full... When they talk about his magical abilities, what they're actually talking about is how fast he can drain ki.
Yeah, and his body being healthy.
Yeah, he's lost the ability to just like instantly suck an entire planet's worth of ki up and eat it. He can do it he can do it slowly. That's what he's doing here. He's doing it very slowly. Like he's manipulating the planet's energy and using it as a weapon, but he's also slowly draining the energy around him. But if he was at like peak capacity, he could have just eaten the whole planet already. So you're paused, Danny. Or I mean you're
mute. I'm muted. No, I said right. That's all I said. Vegeta's having trouble with this, so he upgrades the blue so he can use more energy, knocks Moro away. And then, of course, now Vegeta's like, okay, you were hiding your true intentions, because Vegeta was tricking him into spilling it, and Goku catches on to that. That's a trope. That's the classic Bond villain thing where he's got James Bond tied up and the guy's like, what will happen, Mr. Bond, is in the next 60 seconds, the laser, just shoot him in the head and kill him. Mr. Bond, the laser is going to fire. Just shoot him in the head and kill him. He's going to escape. And when the laser time is up and you will die. And then, of course, he finds a way around it. That's classic supervillain trope shit. That's just... I don't hate it because I recognize it as being a trope. I really do. I love this right here. Moro's actually kind of annoyed, so he creates a number of lava tidal waves. This is really good in color, bro. Color version of this, the color version of this fight slaps, bro. The reds and the blues and the oranges, like, it's tremendous. Vegeta's dodging all of this. This is all just action shots of Moro trying to trap him. Vegeta's making his way through the spaghetti of lava. He actually connects with a kick to Moro's body, which, as I mentioned before, is brittle. He gets knocked on his ass. And if Moro actually loses, I'm headed back to the slammer. I love that. The slammer. The
John Myers said Vegeta in Super Saiyan form is dodging lava, but earlier before during Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, Goku in Super Saiyan Blue form was fighting Broly. This is not just lava. This is life energy of the planet. It's not the same thing. It looks
It's
like
not.
lava.
It looks
It,
like
it,
it.
it
Yeah.
looks like lava, but if you'll notice, there's like purple lightning and like streaks and stuff around it. That's because basically what they're suggesting is the key of the planet is like mixed in with the very like lava and the foundation of the planet itself. It's almost
Right.
like it's lifeblood. So
Yeah.
it's not just lava.
And actually, when you really think about it, because we know that there's lava underneath the earth, lava can almost be seen in a way as like the earth's like blood in a weird, like sort of like when it's going through your veins, like that's but Jordan's right. It's not just lava. I'm calling it lava because I'm trying to simplify because I don't want to have to call it planetary energy
Moro
every time.
pointed out earlier how much energy planet Namek had, just to show you that this is like it's following the key system. There's more key within the planet than there is within Vegeta, so it can do damage to him. So
now here something really weird happens, and I remember when this yes, magma, liquid magma.
you're right.
So something weird happens here, right? I remember when this chapter dropped, and I was like, we were all like, whoa. Goku recognizes that something weird is going on because Vegeta is no longer in his god form. He's back to his base. This guy tries to escape. Moro, of course, sees that as a distraction, blasts Vegeta with regular old energy. Vegeta is able to block it, but wait, what about your form? And now, Moro here, he is gathering up more energy. We're going to get to that in a minute. And then while that's going on, the Namekians are starting to realize that this planet's now in danger. And look at this. This is awesome, bro. I like this a lot.
Yeah, me too,
That's
dude.
a classic Frieza fucking...
It's like an evil spirit bomb.
It's, yeah. John, you gotta understand, bro. I'm calling it lava just as a simplification. The lava's intertwined with the energy. That's why it's purple there. And that's something you would only even see if you're reading the color version. If you're reading the black and white version, there's no way you could tell. No, it's not an evil Genki Dama, but I see why you would say that.
Yeah, it's like
okay.
one. I'm not saying it is, but it's like one. Yeah.
No, right. That was for somebody in the chat. So here, Moro literally takes energy, swallows it, and powers up. And he didn't take all the energy from the planet, but he took a chunk of it.
He got a lot, yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, he turns into these little white balls, and he swallows little white drops, gets behind dudes, and sucks them. That's Moro, bro. That's Moro. This guy's name is Cranberry, which is funny because there's a guy on the Frieza Force who's also named Cranberry. So Toyotaro's reusing names from the old stuff. So Vegeta wants to get in there and then tries to go Super Saiyan Blue. We see it up here in this panel up here.
The way that Vegeta is drawn in that bottom left panel is the most Dragon Ball Z looking panel I have seen from Toyotaro.
In Super?
Yeah, the bottom left. You see what I'm talking about?
Of course, because he's mad.
So much like Dragon Ball Z, dude. Like, it's actually crazy. Like, that art style is just completely different than like every other panel. If you look, like, it looks a lot like how
it looks like Vegeta when he was a bad guy.
Yep.
And this one over here too, the left here and the left over here. There's the left on one page and on the other. So now Jocko figures out that Moro's taking energy like Genki. This is what they were talking about, from everything. But he can also take your energy while he's fighting you, which, interestingly enough, is similar to what Vegeta does with Ultra Ego, even though he's not taking your energy. But Vegeta does learn Force Spirit Fission. So Vegeta says, I can't turn Super Saiyan. This is the first villain that they've ever faced off against who's been able to disable their transformations. I love it a lot, Jordan.
Me too.
Because we've never had somebody like this.
Genius. It really is.
Can you imagine? Think about this for a minute, right? Think about this. What's gonna happen when Sparking Zero drops a DLC pack with Moro, and you do the ability, you do the special ability, and your whoever you're fighting is locked out of transforming? That's
That would be
kind
wild.
of I could see them doing that.
Yeah, Moro would be OP in a game just because of the fact that he can steal life and all that kind of stuff. But
His lava move would be a badass fucking finisher.
what
That's
I
for
like
sure.
about this is it forces Goku and Vegeta to take a different route of power. So, had this never happened, they could just rely on the same thing that they've always relied on, Super
Blue.
Saiyan, like the adrenaline that comes from their emotions. Basically, just kind of like not brute power, so to speak, in like the sense, but they're not necessarily using anything spiritual outside of like internal alchemy and the idea of producing ki. That's spiritual, but like they're basically just using raw ki and the ability to tap into your ki and power up to try and take down Moro. And what this does is this forces them to have to train and find a new route of growth and power for both characters. So I think
I was a
that's
big
why
fan of that.
yeah, it's narratively very very well implemented in that sense because when you want your characters to train and get stronger, you don't want them to just do it for a bland reason. You want it to be kind of detailed and in depth. So this really kind of what I like about this is it directly acknowledges what Goku and Vegeta have been using to take care of most of their problems previously in Dragon Ball, and it makes it useless, as you said, but it also makes the training arc that they have to go through that much more relevant and important because it's kind of a way of getting around this problem in the future. So,
Absolutely. And we've never had a villain that can do this. And I think this is one of the most dangerous techniques any villain's been able to do because now he's got hacks. Now, God energy is minimized, transformations are minimized, and they're such an important part of this series that it's a big deal. Now, Moro decides to get physical, mushes Vegeta's face in, tosses him away. Vegeta, in base form, even though he's very strong, not not like as strong as
yeah,
Moro
he just
is,
ate all
even though
that
he's
energy
old.
too.
Yeah, and
He
he
just
even
ate all
says
that.
he talks about his magic. Yeah, and then as you were saying, I was hiding my true intent. Yeah, with that funny face of
I
his.
love that
So
face, dude. That's like one
it,
of the most evil looking expressions. Like it's crazy. It
it's
reminds me,
been
like I
used
said,
a lot.
people say that he's like all these different villains mixed together, and he is, but he reminds me a lot of Piccolo Damael during this section of the story, like the way he
Yep,
behaves.
and they're on Namek. So go
Yeah.
figure. Let me get this super chat here from the 12th Crash Master. Thank you for the generous $10. I'm curious, what do you both prefer when it comes to manga, colored or black and white? I like both, but with certain media, I tend to choose the formats intended to be seen unless it's a hassle. I kind of agree with him. I can read the Kanzenban versions of the manga in black and white and be perfectly fine with that. But for the purposes of the streams that we do, I think color is better because I think the colored version of the manga is so much better to read, especially with Super, I think, for a live audience than black and white. You know what I mean? Color just
I
pops more.
prefer I prefer the original manga in black and white.
The
I
old the
prefer
OG
Super.
42.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
prefer
me
it in
too.
black and white. I
Me too.
prefer Super in color
Me too.
because
But there are some classic panels from the old one that go hard in color though.
that's true. I won't disagree with that. But the reason I prefer Super in color is because Super has those gray tones, and it's just
Yeah.
there's something
For
about
for
like
the
the
for the
old.
the different versions of Super Saiyan that look the same except for their color swaps. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's more
there's
important.
something about the gray tones that it's just too much on my eyes. Uh, the old black and white style, like just the minimal ink and like the lack of tones in the old school manga just had such an aesthetic to it that I just loved looking at. The tones just didn't eat your eyes because sometimes in manga they used so much tone that it just eats your eyes. You're like, God, I don't. Oh, this is so much gray.
And here's
And
the thing is with this era of Super, we've got Super Saiyan Blue, we've got Rose, we've got Orange Piccolo, Black Frieza, Golden Frieza. Colors have never been more emphasized in the history of Dragon Ball. That's why Super probably should be read in color more than black and white, because we've never had this much like emphasis on colors ever.
Right. Right.
So that to me is a big deal, you know. One more here from Kiryu. He says, I love Moro as a villain. He's my number 2 of all time or of Super, because he's not my number 2, but I did do a top 10 favorite villains video, which is not up yet, and he is on the list, and he's pretty high on the list. He's not number 2 though. Such a fun and awesome villain who has a great theme of being the rep of the sins of the past villains. I could see that being something they might have thought about. So I could see that. I've been thinking about buying a full set of the Kanzenbans for the cover art and 3-in-1 factor. No, my friend. Do not get it twisted. You are confused. The Kanzenban is not the 3-in-1s. This is something I've noticed a lot of people get confused about. The Kanzenban is a Japan-only release that I have up there on the top shelf, and it's only in Japanese, and they're about this big. The 3-in-1 are smaller and thicker and have 3 volumes in one that Viz put out. The reason as to why people get them confused is because they both have the red covers. And it's the red cover with the Toriyama Kanzenban 2003 art. So what happened was Viz used the Kanzenban art on the 3-in-1s, but the Kanzenbans are not the 3-in-1s, bro. Paper quality is not the same. The way it looks on the page is not the same. And it's not as thick. So maybe someday I'll do a whole guide about that. Like, you know, what is what. So Goku tries to jump in. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I just didn't know. Maybe you were frozen.
No,
Goku tries to... Oh, no, okay. Goku tries to jump in, and guess what? Moro sees him coming. Moro sees him coming and blocks him. That's new. That's new. Goku's not going to get the hero moment yet, and Moro throws him into the rock. Remember, they can't transform, so their base forms are just in bad shape. Moro again uses the energy of the planet to attack Goku, knocks him back. Goku is really tired. Here comes Vegeta with the Gallic gun. He fires it, and what does Moro do? He eats it, bro. So now we've got a new problem, because this is basically like the androids that they fought who could absorb energy, except way more dangerous. Because what did they have? What did they have that the androids did not know about and couldn't prepare for? Transformations. They don't have that here. Yep. It's a double fuck you.
Yep.
They're in trouble. He says Frieza and Moro are my all-time 1 and 2. It's funny you say that. I would wait till the anime version of this comes out and then kind of get your final, you know, viewpoint. Kanzenban versus Tankoban. Yeah, but the Tankoban is not the same as the 3-in-1s either. That's a different release. There are multiple different releases of a Dragon Ball manga. I mean, like 4 or 5, and America, Viz has their own like 3 or 4. So there's no version of the manga that's a 1-in-1. None. Like it's different in depending on what country you're in. And that sucks for us, but I mean, it is what it is. Viz's version of the manga is censored, so be aware of that. Obviously, it's not a lot, but there is some censorship. So now Moro's really strong. Beerus wakes up. Whis is trying to figure out what's going on. And because they're not really involved in this is just kind of like them showing us that they're still around. We see the Oracle fish who we haven't seen in a while.
Beerus says the reason he's not interested in whether or not Namek is saved is because they don't have any good food. They only drink water.
Yeah. I actually like that line.
Yeah.
I like that line a lot, bro. So Goku and Vegeta are in deep shit right now. Goku says, we can't fight this guy. We have to retreat and live to fight another day. and he can't use instantaneous movement. He cannot use it,
He's
folks.
completely out of key. Yeah.
Do they even have tasty water? I don't know, bro. I'll tell you what. When Elon gets SpaceX going, I'll go to Namek and I'll come back and I'll tell you, bro. I'll let you know. I definitely want to go there first. Here comes. Damn, bro. He straight up dropped the atomic bomb on them, bro. This is better than I remembered. I remember enjoying the early parts of this arc, but I'm enjoying it more now, in 2026.
Yeah.
They both get knocked away. They're in deep shit. Vegeta and Goku are beaten right now. They are, at this point, they have been defeated. Moro has beaten them. And I like how he says, now this is, again, we talked about Daima. Take note of this. This was surprising, as beings such as yourself did not exist in my era. Why is it that people from the demon realm had no idea there were this many powerful mortals?
Yep.
This further lets me know that he's probably from the fucking demon realm, because the multiverse, even though the demon realm does have its own problems when it comes to power and shit, the multiverse is really where the strongest mortals are. And I think that's kind of, again, this wasn't done on purpose. It wasn't like Toriyama and Toyotaro planned all this back when this came out, but it does seem to fit together that this guy's from the demon realm.
Toriyama did specify in the original interview talking about the demon realm that they use magic instead of ki and that they were weak. So he had talked about it before, way before Daima was a thing. Like,
right, but he never revealed that they had no idea about the multiverse.
Right, that's
getting
true.
So
You're
strong.
right. You're right. He didn't do that. But
because Goma was like, "Wait a minute,"
I do find it interesting that he said the only one who stood in my way was the great Lord of Lords who stole my abilities. Part of the reason that the Lord of Lords was one of the only threats he had at that time is because the Kai or the Glend, when they moved to the mortal realm, they started spiritually cultivating themselves and developing ki. So basically what's happening here is Moro is facing mortals who have developed the same sort of power as the gods. And that's basically what Moro's saying.
Drago, you're right. The app does not have the manga in color. In order for you to get the colored version of the manga, you're going to have to go on the internet and look for auspicious places to find it.
Or you can buy it. Or you can buy it. You can buy
yeah,
it.
But that's okay. I think you can buy the digital Japanese one, but I think he wants the translations. I'm guessing he wants the translations.
I think
he's right.
Have all of the English ones now digitally in color, if I'm not mistaken.
Not legally though. Not legally.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, they remember Viz never put out the Cell or Buu saga or anything before the Saiyan saga in Dragon Ball color. Like that's I can't, like I said before, I cannot blame Emperor Drago. This is not his fault. There's no version available to legally buy. And if you can't legally get it, read between the lines. Anyways, let's continue. I love this. This is like a precursor to Moro stabbing Goku later in the arc. Now he's just fucking clowning. He's just toying with them. However, I ought to mention that you two were never a threat to me. So he's already making Broly look like a chump. By the way, you know where they got this image from, right? Do you know the history of that Moro image, where they got it from?
Which one?
The one in the upper, hold on, I'll zoom in. I have to actually find it. Hold on. Okay, do you see the image right there that I have right in the middle of the screen?
I don't see it. No, I just see the manga still.
No, the manga. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The panel.
That one.
This one right here, where with Moro and he's fucking that one.
Oh yeah.
Let me see if I can find it real quick. If I can't, we'll just move on. But this is actually, there is a reference here. Hold on. Oh, geez, it keeps going to. Hold on. Okay, is this it? No. Okay, I'm a little mad because I can't find it right now. I can't find it on Google. I have the image somewhere on my PC, but I don't remember where I put it. Basically, this is Thanos. There's an image of Thanos holding down Captain America and
Oh
like
yeah, I
blast
remember that. Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
yeah, that's kind of. I'm pretty sure that's where they got this from. Remember, Toyotaro did get caught tracing a Captain America comic, so he definitely reads. You know what I'm saying?
I
He
mean,
definitely reads.
I think he referenced it. I think tracing's a bit of a
Well,
stretch. I
remember,
remember
bro,
when.
they proved that he traced.
Nah, I remember that whole thing. As an artist, I took one look at it and was like, "That's not traced, bro." It's definitely very, very heavily referenced, but the anatomy is like totally different than the original.
That type of stuff never bothers me, bro. I'll be real with you. But I guess if I was an artist, it would. So I got to give him the benefit of the doubt. So
Yeah.
here we have Moro doing the Emperor Palpatine, where now he's straight up just draining their energy. The power of your bond. And again, we know Toyotaro's a fan of Star Wars because he put over the Acolyte, which means that we're fucked. If he thinks the Acolyte's good storytelling, bro, Dragon Ball Super's done. So here he literally, bro, this reminds me of you know what this reminds me of, bro? First of all, the fact that he's holding them, the way he's holding those two orbs reminds me of something that's 18 plus. That's number one. Number two, this reminds me of that scene in Little Mermaid, bro, where Ursula takes her voice when she gives up her voice. Remember, and it comes. Do you remember that scene where you see
Yeah,
her
yeah, yeah,
voice
yeah.
come out of her throat? Yeah, it reminds me of that, bro. I don't think that was the reference, but it reminds me of that. So Goku and Vegeta are out, bro. Like they're almost dead at this point. It's over, bro. Moro has beaten them. But wait a minute. Look at that. He's back to normal, or he's back to being young again. So
He's somewhat younger. He's not
somewhat young,
completely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But it's the same thing that happened in Rise of Skywalker when the Emperor took Rey and Kylo's energy and then he started to regenerate his fingers and he's like, the power of your bond restores the one true emperor. By the way,
Yeah.
I fucking hate that movie. I'm not in any way praising that movie. I'm just letting everybody know that we've seen this before, and Toyotaro is a fan of Star Wars. And guess when that movie came out? December 2019. This manga chapter was like 3 months after that. There's no question that he probably saw the movie. Probably, I don't know for sure, but it's pretty close, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, let's continue going here. Um, Moro, you're right. Moro's somewhat young, but not super young. Like, not yet. So now they're trying to find the Namekian Dragon Balls. That's what's going on right here. Meanwhile, Miris is like, we're gonna get to Miris in a minute, actually. So Moro makes the classic mistake, bro. He fucking has drained them of their energy. They're down, but he didn't verify the kill.
Well, no,
Jordan,
he said that he wanted. No, he actually says before he leaves, he said, "I'm going to leave you with basically just enough life energy to stay alive, because if they come
but it
back,
says those drained of their energy will perish on their own in short order.
yeah, yeah, yeah." But he says right before he leaves, the reason he's leaving just enough energy to leave them alive is if they do come back to life, he can eat them again.
Okay,
So
is that after this? I don't remember that.
yeah,
Was that
he basically says that, he basically is like, no, it's before. It's like whenever he's like
it
got him laying on the ground. He's talking about how
here?
he, no, before that, I think
Up?
whenever they're
Here?
like first down.
No, that's here,
Uh,
bro. This is when they're down.
uh, maybe it is afterwards. Yeah, maybe it is afterwards. But he ends up
Yeah.
saying he basically says he's like, every time they like recover and come back, it's just I get that much more powerful. So like basically he's like he's milking them for energy is what he's actually doing. Now he's saying right there that he doesn't care if they die. If they die from a lack of energy, so be it. But if they come back, he's just going to eat all their energy again. He's just going to get that much stronger. So that's how he's thinking about it. He's thinking about like, oh, I'll just eat their energy again. So it is a mistake, and he is being over cocky, but he's got some sort of internal logic for like why it's okay to leave them alive. So
Yeah, I don't recall that, but when we get to it, like when we get to if we get to that page, call it out for me because I don't remember
All
him
right, I
saying
will.
that. All right, so now back to Mirrors, and Mirrors was informed that Majin Buu has awoke, and remember they believe that Majin Buu is the key to actually beating this guy, and of course Buu ate all the food. And basically, what's going on here is they want to sick Buu on Moro as fast as
We
possible.
get to see the
Meanwhile,
island from Jocko, like
yes,
in Dragon Ball Super.
this made me so happy, Jordan, when this chapter dropped. We get to see tights again, but the problem is, you know this, bro. When the anime version of this drops, people are gonna be like, "Oh, that's a cool island," because nobody reads the fucking
Well,
manga. So
unless they like show some stuff from Jocko, because Moro Arc is not going to be a one-to-one adaptation of the Moro Arc, and it's not actually even called the Moro Arc. It's called the Galactic Patrol. So maybe they'll show more of Jocko, like in the Galactic Patrol saga. Like maybe they'll.
I hope they fucking adapt the Jocko manga as a 45-minute special. And why? It's weird, Jordan, because we know that Akio got Sandland, which is not new. Sandland is not a new manga. He got it made into a movie in 2023, was it? 2023,
Yeah,
2024?
yeah, that was Toriyama requested that though, but yeah, he did.
Akio got it done through Toho. Why
Yeah,
the fuck has he not gotten Jocko done?
yeah, he definitely should.
I mean, fuck, bro. It's so obvious. A lot of this is comic relief. It's a way to kind of write Bulma in because she's in every arc, and Jocko and
Yeah, and
Bulma have
Bulma's
that
dressed straight up
friendship.
like a Star Wars character, like
I mean,
in
she's dressed like Han Solo, kind of like that,
yeah,
kind of like the with the blazer, kind of like
yeah.
what's his name, bro? Glorio was like that. Are we ever gonna see Glorio again, bro? We have to. Like,
I think it would be cool if, like, we get to see Glorio and Pansy again, like after everything that happened in Dragon Ball Super. I think that'd be cool.
we need to go back to the Demon Realm, bro. I want to go back there, like down the road. All right, so Goku and Vegeta are out, and this Namekian, this chubby Namekian here, has healing powers. Not as good as Dende, but he has them. And so now they're healed up and they're okay. Eska's his name because it's a pun on Escargo, because there's Cargo, which is Dende's brother, and Eska. I don't know if you guys know this, but Namekians are all named after puns except Piccolo. So Nail is a pun on snail, Cargo is Escargo, and Eska is the beginning part of escargot. So
Yeah.
I don't know if they knew that or not, Jordan. Piccolo, on the other hand, he has a different pun. He's named after musical instruments, which is why there's piccolo, drum, tambourine, piano, and cymbal. They're all named after musical instruments. But remember, Demon King Piccolo is not a Namekian. He's a part of the Mazoku, which is not the same thing as a regular Namekian. Therefore, that's why he has a different naming convention.
Right.
Every character in Dragon Ball is a pun on something. That's why I thought it was silly. Granola, that's a stupid name for a character. Oh, but carrot isn't. Broccoli isn't a stupid name, but they're all stupid names. That's the point. Anyways, let's move on. Vegeta and Goku were out for 3 days, bro.
Yeah. And
That's
during that time, Moro's been just ransacking the planet, collecting the Dragon Balls.
yes, and
I really
killing.
like what Moro does here. You ever play the Force Unleashed?
Yes, I have. I actually really like that game.
Remember when you could
Pick them up and slam them, right?
you could pick them up, slam, 'em, you could throw them into shit.
Throw them into
Like
ships.
yeah, that's what he's doing here. He makes a wall of lava, and then he like picks them up using the Force, and he just starts freaking tossing them into the fire. It's crazy, bro. It really
It's
does
pretty
remind
badass.
me of the like Sith, aesthetic.
There's a lot of Star Wars in this arc, is what you're saying.
Yeah, definitely for sure.
I mean, the Galactic Patrol, that's Ginga Patrol, like that's what it is. What are they gonna go call granola in the anime? Let's see.
Probably granola.
You think?
Oh, do you mean the arc? Do you mean like what are they going to call the title of the arc?
They should just call it the Galactic Patrol Prisoner Arc. No, I'm sorry, that's this arc. That's this one. I'm an idiot. What was the Granola arc called in the manga? The not Universal Survivor. What the fuck? Now I'm drawing a blank.
It was the Cerulean.
No, it wasn't Cerulean anything. It was something.
I don't know. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time. I know. I feel
Granola
like a damn
Survivor arc.
That's right. I knew the word survivor was in there. That's right. Granola
Right.
the Survivor
Thank
arc.
you, guys.
That's right.
It's been so
No,
long.
thanks. Yeah, I knew Granola the Survivor was in there.
Yeah.
I knew it. Okay. Young GX Non, thank you for the $9.99. Since Moro siphons ki passively, even God ki as he did to Goku and Vegeta, when Beerus was on the planet, was he siphoning Beerus ki also? Or is Beerus immune to that technique since he's a god of destruction? I would assume that, now this is my guess. I don't think Beerus is immune to the technique because he's a god of destruction. I think Beerus is immune to the technique because he's fucking Beerus and trained under Whis and is very strong.
He's
like
very,
I
very
could
strong.
I could see Moro doing that shit to like Sidra or one of the Jobber God of Destruction. But Beerus, I think it's more like a Beerus thing than him just being a God of Destruction.
Yeah, and also
know?
keep in mind that Boo is, which we're going to get to that here in a minute. Boo is immune to his magic. So,
Yeah,
but I think
right.
that Boo's immune to his magic because of Boo's magical properties. But I don't
And
think
the Grand Kai thing.
Yeah, I don't think Beerus would need to be immune to it. I think he would just wreck him. So, you know.
And the thing is, too, something else, again, going back to Daima, with the fact that we know that Grand Kai and Moro were sort of like arch rivals in a way, they're kind of like I have an old beef, it's possible that this all traces back to something that did happen in the demon realm many years ago. There might be a whole race of goats, and for all intents and purposes, these goats might have feuded with the Glins forever ago. And you have two sides. You have dark magic and light magic. They could very easily expound all of this to really tie it in like that if they want, you know?
Yeah, the fact that the Glen ended up leaning into spiritual internal cultivation and these goat-like creatures leaned into stealing people's energy is a cool dynamic. It is cool.
Yes, it is cool, and there's a lot of opportunities. They're probably not gonna like take advantage of it, but there's a lot of opportunities for them to do some cool shit if they want to. So I like how this Elder Namekian says, if as a last resort, we'll just fuse. You know, see, and they already are fusing. So a lot of Namekians.
This is in reference to like here in a second. Whenever the Namekians charge at Moro, the Namekian hero or whatever.
This is a reference to the original Dragon Ball.
Yeah, Namek,
manga.
Actually.
Namek, yeah, the manga. When they attack Frieza's guys and get wiped out.
Yeah, there's a scene. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure the Namekian that attacks Frieza looks exactly like that. Like, I'm pretty sure that Toyotaro basically just like redrew that character.
And remember,
they're drawn like that too. Like they're all three of them are like flying together. Now he doesn't absorb them like that, but like in the original manga, there's a panel of three Namekians flying towards Frieza, and he just freaking wrecks them like it's nothing. So this is like a direct reference to the Namekians from the Namek saga. Like it's literally even drawn the same and everything.
And don't forget, they did something very similar, not just in the Namek saga that you're talking about. Later on in the anime version of the Frieza saga, when Frieza gets to Grand Elder's like tower, there's three Namekians that appear and they attack him, and Frieza blows. Remember Frieza blew like breath out of his mouth and killed them. It was only in the anime.
Yeah,
do you remember that?
Yeah,
it was Dragon Ball Z episode 70, I believe it was. That's the one. So this whole thing of like Namekians merging, obviously the thing they can do. We saw them do that in Super in Universe 6. Hazen brings up Gas Corlo. That's a name I haven't heard in like 10 years, bro. Do you know about Gas Corlo?
There was a fan manga where all the Namekians fused into a character named Gas. No,
Gas Corlo. I believe
Yeah.
that's actually it was Dragon Ball Multiverse. I think that it might have been Multiverse.
Oh yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I could totally see them doing
I
something like that.
believe that's the one. Yeah, Gas Corlo. Yep. That's I thought about doing a video about Gas Corlo someday. The savior of all Namekians will be upon us shortly, right? No, Piccolo's not coming. So yeah, they show up, but he does have a cape though. And again, Moro likes to impale people with his hands, bro. Feeling through their guts.
Well, he's
I
got
do
those
you
big ass long hands and those sharp nails. I mean, it makes sense. You
do,
know.
do you remember how awesome this was when it first dropped and
Of
everybody
course
was
I do.
saying everyone was
Like
like,
you
"Man,
say the
there's
old.
blood
This
in
is the
Dragon
first.
Ball."
This is the first arc that really hit for me in Dragon Ball Super, like close to the level of the OG manga. The other ones were good. I mean, I liked it. I enjoyed it, but like something about Moro just was so different than everything else Dragon Ball Super had done so far. And I think it was because they were being more risky in terms of him being more sinister and more brutal and more just overall. He just it just felt like he was an actual threat. And you know, him being this ruthless, I think feeds into that because a lot of Dragon
He's
Ball
a
Super
dick.
a lot of Dragon Ball Super is about the effect that Goku has on the characters that he's running into, like Frieza, Hit, Jiren. Now Zamasu's pretty brutal, but he's a whole different thing. Uh, this is the first character that is not like being directly influenced by Goku and changing like in real time. Like that's not a major theme of like Moro's character early on in the story. So you really get to see him be sinister and really it's really refreshing because he reminds me a lot of like what made the old Dragon Ball villains appealing, which is that he's just absolutely evil, you know.
Yeah, I agree with you. And people in the chat are like, "Oh, they're gonna censor this for the anime." They probably will. I hope they don't, but they probably will because this is pretty gory. I don't want them to edit it, but they probably will. So, is that Boo eating all the food? Oh no, wait, he's just smashing through. Oh, he is. Okay, yeah, that's what he's doing.
He's eating the
Oh,
space food.
yeah, yeah,
That's not food.
yeah. So Goku and Vegeta are now up. The Namekians are worried. That's the last Dragon Ball though, and they're there to protect it, so that they're at least going to do that. Moro has completely wiped out this entire village.
So
Um,
this is a trope from a lot of like old Chinese stories where like okay, so you know how the Namekians have the warrior clan and the dragon clan?
right.
Well, we talked in the last stream about how the gods were kind of like the martial and religious monks from Chinese myth, and the Namekians are that too. They're the exact same thing. They even use the Dragon Balls the same way the monks use the Shintamani stone. And in a lot of those stories, there's a lot of tropes of demons coming in and just like destroying their monastery, like their little temple, and like trying to steal like their ancient artifacts and their relics. So this right here is in itself is also a trope. I mean, it was during the original Namekian saga as well, but it's being re-implemented here, like a demonic entity coming in and just like ransacking this like spiritual place and then trying to steal their like magical relics. That in itself is also a trope. So no, you're muted, Danny.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. Cube, I was blowing my nose. I didn't want you to hear it. Cube and Superman, no. Dragon type Namekians are the ones that are more sages who create Dragon Balls
And
and give
magic.
birth.
They're magic.
Wa-
They're more
right.
magic based.
Warriors are the physical ones. They're the ones that like Piccolo. Lemon's Cure, big Jiren fan, thank you for the super chat. Would Dragon Ball Super Jiren flop? Showing his backstory properly and what he's up to currently, whether how much he and Topo improved. Look, man, I'm just going to keep it real with you. And I'm not saying this because of whatever reasons you may think I'm going to say this. I'm saying this as somebody who has deeply studied this shit. At this point, I don't think anything they put out is going to flop. I think Dragon Ball, unlike Star Wars and a lot of other things, Dragon Ball still has a very, very healthy and hungry community. I think they could very easily put out a Jiren special or a Pride Trooper show. I talked about this years ago when Super was on the air the first time. They could easily do it. Will they have the balls to do it? Don't know. But I do not think it would flop. I think we're in an era where you can slap Dragon Ball's name on anything and it will sell. Even Daima, for all the shit it got, performed really well and got really good reviews internationally. So I just don't see how it would flop. And I'm not saying that as a Dragon Ball fan. I'm happy, but I'm also surprised because how many other things have flopped? Jordan, we live in a world right now. Jordan, we live in a world where there is a Star Wars movie in movie theaters, and all anybody's talking about is 2 horror movies made by former YouTubers under $1 million budget.
Well, I have talked about this a lot online, and
isn't that wild?
I think the problem with modern media is that people online complain as though they are master critics who have an opinion that's worth listening to and worth the industry taking seriously. And then they complain when people take those shitty criticisms seriously, and then that makes the product worse. Because most of what happens in terms of like modern products falling off is they see people saying things online, criticizing things online, and this isn't like, it's not. I hate whenever they like put a political agenda in media instead of trying to like actually making it entertaining. And a lot of that, and I'm not just saying it is just political agendas. That's part of it. But what it is in America,
they're sacrificing a story for a political agenda. That's what it is.
That's part of it, but also they're just taking criticism that's not actually good criticism and adopting it because it's popular criticism. It's popular opinion fallacy is what it is. They're falling victim to it, and they see people say these things online, and they're like, oh, we got to change what we do because all of these people have this opinion, and we have to cater to this opinion, or our product's not going to sell. And Dragon Ball consistently does well because they refuse to change the product in a way that is detrimental to it because people won't stop complaining about it online. And that's something that I appreciate about Dragon Ball is because it's so culturally nuanced and there's a lot of things that they consider behind the scenes in terms of how they go about writing things and stuff like that, that other people just can't appreciate or understand. It makes it to where they're kind of immune to this, not completely, but they're kind of immune to this effect of like online criticism.
Well, they also are in Japan and don't give a fuck what Americans think, which
right.
I'm
They're kind
glad.
of immune. They're immune in some sense to the toxic effect that the fandom can have on a product if they have their way. Because like when I read particularly fan criticisms of Dragon Ball, it makes me so thankful. I thank God every day that the fandom is not in charge of actually writing the franchise. Because when I see people make criticisms
and their
or
bullshit
come up with
ideas
concepts or things, that they think are better, like basically they're so
90% of them are garbage.
They're absolutely basically Goku would be a complete edgelord who just wipes out all the characters immediately. There would be no struggle.
Dragon Ball Z dub fans.
They don't think about the product as a form of entertainment. They think about the product as a form of immediate self-gratification for themselves. And I think that is a huge, huge problem in like American media, is that American media sees like this criticism online and they don't realize that the criticism is coming from a place of just wanting instant self-gratification instead of a in-depth, sophisticated understanding of what makes media entertaining,
Yeah, that's all true. And I think Star Wars sacrificed itself. Not purposely, but I think Star Wars sacrificed its goodwill with the fans a lot. Because even The Mandalorian, who 5 or 6... This show is named after him. 5 or 6 years ago was the hottest Disney product they had ever put out. Star Wars is flopping in the theaters compared to a fucking movie about a guy who has a crush on a girl and makes a wish, and a yellow fucking room made by fucking people who are 20 and 26 years old, YouTubers. They're killing Star Wars right now, bro. That's insane. And I think, and Dragon Ball, at least with Dragon Ball never sold itself out, because here's the thing, Jordan. Even though I agree with everything that you're saying, even those fans, even those toxic, casual Dragon Ball fans, even they still like Dragon Ball. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of the, you notice, bro, when a new movie comes out, it'll get shit for a new Dragon Ball movie, like superhero, would get shit for a while, and then every time, oh, you know what? I kind of like that movie, and so they end up like coming around
People
on it.
treat Dragon Ball like their ex-wife that they're like still low-key obsessed with. Like, they hate her, but they love her, and they just can't admit it.
Like, I've
That's
been
how
in
I
a
feel about-
situation.
Yeah.
There's somebody who's doing that to me right now. Okay, this question is, I don't know if I want to get too deep into it because we still have to finish the manga, but I do want to answer this question as best we can. 251 Jarvis, how do you guys think Gogeta or Vegeta would have fared against Moro? I don't know if Gogeta or Vegeta would have been able to stop Moro from taking their energy, bro. I'm just not sure. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think if Gogeta and Vegeta blitzed Moro at full speed, they'd get him. But if they don't, Moro's sorcery, I think, might actually be able to shut them down. What do
If
you
they
think?
immediately fused into Gogeta Blue and just wiped his ass out, yes, they could beat him. Like, when they first met Moro, if they just turned into Gogeta Blue, I bet they could have whooped his ass. But
What about later Moro? Well, not
No.
UI Moro. Gogeta would not beat UI
the
Moro.
more that he hones into his ability to drain energy quickly, the less chance Gogeta has.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I want to real quick. Do you think DB Evolution has fans now? No. Well, I think there's a very, 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 very small number of them. No. And here's the thing. Dragon Ball Evolution was sold out what Dragon Ball was supposed to be and made it about putting Goku in high school. Even the fans that don't love or have seen OG Dragon Ball, even those fans hated the movie. So even though I criticize those people, and Jordan does as well, like he did a minute ago, even the casual Dragon Ball fans recognize bullshit. And even though modern Dragon Ball is not anywhere near as good as the old shit, it hasn't sold itself out yet. And that's why people are still excited for it.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball may actually be healthier than Star Wars. Not like all time. Not all time. I'm not counting like, you know, the 80s when or even the prequels. But the way that Mandalorian flopped, Jordan, man, I feel like Dragon Ball, I feel like there's a good probability that if there was a Dragon Ball movie in theaters right now, it would do better than Mandalorian. I really feel
It
that way.
definitely would. It would 10,000. There's not a doubt in my mind that it would.
Yeah, but that would have never been the case even 10 years ago, bro. That would never have been the case
Yeah.
even 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's true.
T11T5, thank
Thanks
you
for
for
the
the
dollar,
$1.
brother.
Yeah, thank you. He was like, do you guys think Dragon Ball should stay a half-hour format and not go to an hour like Invincible? If you're going to go to an hour, it's going to be less episodes. I think they want it to be a half hour because Fuji TV's anime is always a half hour. But I really like what they did with Daima, how the first episode was longer. The first episode was, I think, 32 minutes or something like that. I would be perfectly fine with Dragon Ball having episodes that are like season finales or arc finales going an hour. So I don't think, so the answer is it's probably never going to go to an hour, but I could see it someday where like the big ending of an arc is an hour long special. In fact, they probably should do that.
Right.
to fit everything in. Okay,
Yeah.
let's continue because we gotta wrap this up. So Moro's got almost all the Dragon Balls. There's one left. They Goku and Vegeta woke up. They're the way they're dressed is funny. Ready to go into action because he's headed to them right now because they have the Dragon Balls and there's Goku and Vegeta outside waiting
I
for his
like
ass.
Vegeta's conversation here with
Yeah, let's talk about it. You want to go through it?
yeah, he says, given that I slaughtered all those Namekians years ago, how do you feel about me? You speak of the attack of the Elder Suno, right? We do not forge, or no, we do not forget these things so easily. So you hold a grudge? And then he says that no, we don't hold a grudge because we know that it's foolish to indulge in such things and we just don't function that way.
Very
Which is
yin and
very,
yang.
very Jedi-like.
Yep.
Very, very, very Jedi-like.
Emotionless.
Yeah. Well, it's like not even necessarily emotionless. It's just, your emotions can cause you to do malicious things and fall to the dark side. And it kind of seems like the Namekians have developed a code very similar to that to try and prevent from quote unquote falling to the dark side. So that's what this reminds me of. It's like when you put it that way, it's almost like Piccolo was a Jedi who fell to the dark side, and he kind of like despite the fact that the Namekians have this code of ethics, he did not, and as a side effect,
Well, Majin Vegeta is sort of like a version of that, falling to the dark side. That's why they call him Dark Prince Vegeta in a lot of the games. Jarvis, you are correct. Goku and Vegeta did get a Zenkai here, so they're already stronger than they were the first time against Moro. But guess what? So is Moro. So yeah, because he's been swallowing things. So Moro realizes that they're still alive. Goku and Vegeta are powering up, still unable to go Super Saiyan, but they can still fight. They're launching ahead. Here comes a ship. A ship appears, and it's Mirrors. It's Mirrors. Look, it's Mirrors with a gun. And then this scene's gonna be awesome in the anime. He starts
gives me such strong Luke Skywalker vibes sometimes, like
the hair.
The hair and also like his facial expressions, like his like purity, like he's just a very pure, young, like youthful character. He just reminds me a lot of Luke.
Even though he's theoretically he's one of the oldest characters of anybody here because he's an angel, but we don't know that yet. Did you guess he was an angel from the very beginning? I don't think anybody did. I couldn't tell.
I speculated that he was an angel, but there was a lot of people who were speculating about him being an angel. So.
I don't recall. Only the face is what kind of gave it away. But I didn't think he was an angel. Remember though, most of the stuff we saw was in black and white. So it was.
Yeah. I do remember people speculating about it. Maybe it was just my little circle of friends, but we definitely did speculate about it.
So here we have Mirrors and Moro round one. Now they do fight later in the arc, but this is round one right here. Mirrors is performing much better than Goku and Vegeta because what he's doing is, we didn't know this at the time, but now with the benefit of hindsight, we know that Mirrors was hiding his angelic energy and fighting as a mortal here. So he wasn't using his angel powers, therefore he didn't get
and I really
away.
like
He's
I
using
really
technology.
like that he uses technology. Yeah, that's part of the reason that when I was doing the Tarbal the Galactic Patrolman manga thing that I showed you guys last time, that I wanted the Techians to be responsible for the Galactic Patrol's technology, because they do have like really advanced technology, and I just think that there has to be some sort of source for that technology, and I think the Techians are like the perfect source for that. So
Yeah, I think they're so. I mean, hell, you know what they? I'll tell you what might be something to think about. Okay, I don't like The Last Jedi, but there was an idea in that movie that would actually be interesting for Dragon Ball. What if the Frieza Force and the Galactic Patrol were both buying hardware from merchants who were profiting off their war? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I could definitely see that. Yeah.
That, and then the merchants might be like where the heaters are from. That's another way to kind of merge everything together. Like, one guy is getting rich off of this war, and Frieza's army and the Galactic Patrol are all paying to fight each other.
So
that is one of the things I liked about Last Jedi is that idea.
In Keiko Daimon, the Techians, they talk about in that manga. I talk about how the Techians will go to underdeveloped planets, and they will entice the underdeveloped planets with technology so they can control that planet. So there's an evil version of the Techians that Toriyama drew, and there's a good version of the Techians that Toriyama drew. And I think the evil version would be a good character to use for what you're talking about. Or there's like a species that's just profiting off of like war and like using technology to like, basically like dominate different planets and the infrastructure of war in itself. So yeah,
Get rich off of it.
Cool idea. Yeah.
Yeah, to get rich off of it. That would be awesome. Okay, so Mirrors has this technology. He traps Moro. He's trapped in this like energy net, and they got him. Like, they actually got him. He's pretty much under arrest right here. And Goku and Vegeta didn't do shit. The weak Moro, because we didn't know he was an angel yet, is the one that did it. But here comes
then
Jocko.
They just like drop Boo out of the ship.
Yep.
They basically just like drop him
They
down.
just
on
roll
the
him
ground.
out. Operation Dumbo drop. And then what happened was he's there, right? And he come on, man. Come on, bro. So he's there, and they're like, okay, we're gonna sick this guy on Moro. I mean, that's pretty much what's gonna happen here. Majin Buu, though, remembers. Now, one of the things that I think would be cool here, Jordan, is when the anime version of this comes out, what if when Buu is talking to Moro, he's talking, but his voice is the Great Kai's?
Yeah, they definitely need to do that.
When I
saw this, I actually got more hype for this fight than
Me
I
too.
did.
Me too. Because we haven't fucking seen Fat Buu fight in ages, and we got fucked out of him in the U6 tournament and the TOP.
Dude,
He was my favorite villain when I was in high school.
I got so excited when I saw this. I love this so much. Not only getting to see Fat Buu fight, but getting to see the return of the Grand Supreme Kai after all this time. That's freaking crazy.
And just the fact that they actually worked together on this one, and
they're like
in
the
a
same
weird
entity
way.
in some sense. So yeah.
Yeah, and he's got the fucking steam coming out like fucking classic fucking Buu when he first released his anger in Dragon Ball Z. But what I like here is he says, you killed so many of my friends. This is another possible tie into Daima, because if this guy Moro's from the demon realm, how do we know he didn't kill a bunch of fucking Glins there?
That is what he's suggesting.
That's what I'm saying. We didn't know that when this fucking chapter came out. There are so many ways they could tie this back into Daima, bro. Bro, put me in charge, bro. If they put me, I'm better than Toyotaro. Put me in charge, bro, because I would totally have it to where the goats and the Glins do not like each other. The goats are from like the red part of the demon realm, and they break into the blue part, and a bunch of Glins die, but then a few of them manage to, and then Moro's the last one left. That'd be dope, man.
Yes, it would.
It's like the Jedi and the Sith. You know how like in the prequels, no, in the Old Republic, there was a bunch of Sith and a bunch of Jedi, but now there's only a handful. It could be like that, where Moro's like the last goat left.
Yeah, I love it. I love everything about it.
Let me write the next manga, bro, and have Griffin fucking draw it, bro. Moro the Galactic Patrol Man, bro. We're just gonna keep doing Galactic Patrol manga over and over again, bro. No, actually, I'm gonna ask Griffin to do Daisy the Galactic Patrol Woman, because I've already got. Let's just say we'll do it in Toriyama's honor. He'll appreciate the kind of jokes I'll put in there, bro. Okay, anyways. He's trapped, but he breaks out. It was only temporary. And now Buu is saying he remembers all the things Moro did. Buu powers up. We have not seen Buu get into a real fight in forever. He does the thing on Majin Buu, the energy, and Buu just goes right through it, which is something Goku and Vegeta cannot do. Now, if you're wondering, wait a minute, does this mean that Buu is stronger than Goku and Vegeta? No. This is another example. I want to break this down for people. This is another example of Majin Buu versus any other mortal. Majin Buu does not function the same way the rest of the mortals in the Dragon Ball world function. What does that mean? There's no flesh, there's no blood, there's no bones. Majin Buu's entire body is a pink goop that's made up of pure magic. Therefore, things that would hurt flesh and blood people is not going to hurt Majin Buu. Therefore, I'm not done yet. I'm building to a point here. Therefore, this is why Kid Buu was damn near impossible to kill. Because they fought Kid Buu for a long ass time in the Dragon Ball manga and Dragon Ball Z. And guess what happened? He kept regenerating. Because Majin Buu has the highest stamina of any Dragon Ball villain. Because he's impossible to put away. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, this is why if Goku used Mastered Super Saiyan 3 against Kid Buu, he still would not have been able to get the job done. That's why I stick to that. That's why when Goku was like, oh, if I power up to my full power, I can beat him, and then his body shuts down, I think what would have ended up happening is he would have gotten, let's say he got to the full power, right? I think Buu would have kept regenerating, and Goku would have eventually ran out of gas.
Buu also gets stronger when he gets angry. Kid Buu got stronger when.
Well, everybody does in this show, bro.
well, if you remember, if Kid Buu couldn't get stronger than Buuhan, or if he didn't have the potential to do that, then there would be no reason to train Oob. There would be no reason for Goku to go train Oob or go meet Oob. So obviously, the Boos themselves have more potential than what we saw in the Buu saga. And when Toriyama was asked about how strong Buu was, he said that not even Buu knows how strong he is. Meaning, he was very, very obscure about it.
He's got secret power that we never saw, which
right.
The end of this arc touches on that.
Yeah. So what we did just see Buu get angry about his friends being killed. It basically, this is the equivalent of Majin Buu experiencing his first Super Saiyan like power up. I don't know.
I see where you're going with that. I kind of get it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't know if he's stronger than Goku and Vegeta, but he's certainly, because I haven't really scaled this or thought about this in a really long time. But I will say that this is Buu tapping into more power than he ever has before. Now, does that necessarily mean that he was stronger than Goku and Vegeta? No, not necessarily, because Goku and Vegeta haven't really got to utilize their full power in this fight against Moro yet. But I will say Buu is definitely stronger here than he ever has been before. So,
well, yeah, but again, it goes back to that. His body, his psiology is different from Goku and Vegeta's. Moro's magic is not going to work. So what did we learn here, guys? It's not just about who's the strongest. It's also about other factors like magic ability, key manipulation. There are two examples in this volume of that. The fact that Goku and Vegeta are physically stronger than Moro, but Moro still whoops their ass. Why? Because he's got hacks. He's got magic. Well, you know who else has hacks and always has had them? Fucking Majin Buu.
Yeah, and
and that's why, Jordan, I'm just gonna probably say it right now. I'm pretty sure that the first half of this arc, I'm gonna enjoy it more than the second half, just like I did the first time, because this whole idea of these two magic forces going at it, and it's not about just fucking physical strength, is the type of shit I've been wanting Dragon Ball to do for years. Honestly, this might be my favorite Dragon Ball Super concept besides Ultra Instinct, is this whole thing.
Yeah, I love it. It's really cool.
Besides UI. So here we have Moro breaking through Buu's chest like he would do Goku later. Impaled, but Buu smiles at him. Buu gets in his face and smiles, exactly what he did to Dabura. And of course, he can regenerate. Hold on, let me zoom back here. He regenerates there and then fires mouth blasts, a bunch of them at Moro. This fight is so fucking dope, bro. Like, man, why can't we get more Buu? Like, I'm tired of Goku and Vegeta all the fucking time, bro. Let Buu have some action.
This was very refreshing.
Very. He should have been the fucking hero. And Goku and Vegeta are on the sidelines watching this motherfucker. Why didn't we get Majin Buu versus Golden Frieza in Dragon Ball Resurrection F, bro? To this day,
Majin Buu would have whooped his ass, probably. and then
No,
eventually
I
got
think Golden Frieza. I think Golden Frieza would have whooped Majin Buu's ass, but he wouldn't have been able to kill him.
right. Well, it just depends. I think if Frieza pulled like something similar to what he did, if you remember when Golden Frieza showed up, he told his crew, he said, "I want you to kill all of Goku's friends slowly and cause him as much pain as possible, so that way when Goku shows up, he's just like completely emotionally distraught." And if he tried that with Buu, Buu might be able to surpass it.
Well, here's the thing. You're okay, brother. You're missing the point. What I'm saying is they had an opportunity to give us a Frieza versus Buu fight. I'm not saying that Buu was going to win the fight. I'm saying there was an opportunity there to give us a fight between two previous Dragon Ball villains, and they missed that opportunity. Resurrection F was a very big missed opportunity in my book. There's a lot of story elements that I would have put in there that were not there in the theatrical version.
Yeah, a lot of character interactions that could have happened that didn't.
Exactly, because it's Frieza in the Buu post-Buu era, which Gohan's grown up. There's Goten and Trunks. Why didn't fucking Frieza look at Trunks and say that kid looks familiar? You know, going back to what?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
But how many of these interactions were fucked out of?
And Megan just pointed out that Frieza knew about Buu and was told not to fight him.
Exactly.
So that would make it
that would be
a
great, yeah, because then Frieza could be a little scared, but then dude, that'd be a great fucking scene.
Yeah,
we got robbed of Frieza's training too. Fuck, man, I wish I was a writer on this fucking franchise. So okay, so he fires the blast. Buu kicks it away. He knocks fucking Moro on his ass. And look at what
so much like Goku here. It's actually crazy.
Yeah, and Arale, actually, if you want to really go back.
Yeah.
Okay. Buu's energy levels are dropping. Moro's energy absorption does not work on him. That's a big... This is why earlier when that guy was like, would it work on Beerus? I don't think so. I think there are certain beings that it just doesn't work on.
Right.
And that's why the arc is refreshing, because we're seeing like Goku and Vegeta get challenged. Sway Shadow Man says, at least the spirit bomb killed Buu. Well, remember what happened, though. Goku chucked it at Buu, and Buu was able to fire it back at Goku, and then Goku had to wish for his energy to come back to push it back one more time. So,
wasn't easy. That's for sure.
No, it wasn't, but Buu was strong enough to at least push it back at least once.
Yeah.
And so that's, Buu is a problem. Okay, so he's trying to do the candy technique. Moro dodges. Buu, this is a great fight, bro. Buu, now this move is very familiar if you read the original manga or remember Z. This is the same exact thing Buu did to Majin Vegeta. He sits on him, and then he starts doing the full mount MMA punches. This is the same thing. The only difference is that in Z, he used a piece of his stomach flap to tie Vegeta up and then did the full mount punches. But here, different story.
Yeah, my favorite attack that Buu has ever done is coming up here in just a second.
Buu is whooping this motherfucker's ass. Moro fires back. This is a great fucking volume, bro. Boo's, beheaded. Then he pops his head out of his arm, which is freaky. There's a Tales from the Crypt. There's Tales from the Crypt episode like this. Yeah, this is some of Toyotaro's best work. Yeah, this is some of his best shit, I think. I like Jocko. That's definitely an unconventional way to fight. Yeah. Moro's magic doesn't work on him, but it seems like he's gotten stronger. Yeah, Buu, perhaps unlocking those memories unleashed his latent potential. So unlocking the Grand Kai within Majin Buu has made him more powerful.
Yeah, because now, he was angry about his friends being killed. See, that's what's so cool about it. It's the combination. Like Goku. It's the combination of it is like Goku. It's the combination of Grand Priest's empathy, or the Grand Supreme Kai's empathy for his friends, and Buu's Majin-like power of drawing power from rage like Kid Fu. It's the two of those ingredients together that gave this Buu the opportunity to get so strong. So you're right. It is literally exactly like Goku. It's his empathetic nature in charge with the volatile, emotional, ecstatic nature of a Majin, that allowed him to tap into more power. So that is really cool.
I'm gonna throw something at you that I have not thrown at anybody yet, ever. And we're gonna go into it right now in the Mangalorian. Everybody has this debate. Kid Buu or Buuhan, who's stronger? Who's the strongest Buu? This Majin Buu with the Grand Kai unlocked inside of him, I feel like is probably stronger than Buuhan.
Oh, definitely.
I think that this fucking Buu, this is the real strongest Majin Buu. And in fact, I'm probably gonna do a video about it. And I'm gonna call it the real strongest Majin Buu. It's this one.
Yeah,
this
and
one
I
has
like it because
surpassed
it shows,
fucking.
Yeah, and I like it, and it shows that Buuhan's mistake was not taking advantage of this type of power that he could tap into, and Kid Buu's mistake was that he wasn't empathetic enough to have an outlet to really take advantage of this sort of power he could have.
Yeah, he was pure evil.
Yeah, and he didn't have enough empathy or emotional connection to anybody to really take advantage of his rage to tap into as much power as this version of Buu. So
and the thing too about what you just said that's interesting. See, Buu is a very interesting character because of the things like this. Is that remember the scene? It might be anime only. The scene where Majin Buu gets pissed. I think it was Dragon Ball Z episode 172. Every time I do that, I feel like a loser. It's the episode where Buu gets really angry and he starts to crack the dimensional fabric, and then Vegito does the one punch and knocks him out of it. That was in the you remember that, right? The anime?
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
So that always told me that Buuhan was actually stronger than even he realized, and but not as strong as Vegito. Not as strong as Vegito, but stronger than even he was able to tap into, because that was all based on his frustration. So yeah, and then he's like, "This is how unexpected." So Grand Kai was actually a lot stronger than we thought. So now Moro's like bleeding, and he's like, "Fuck! If only I had my full power." And then Buu called him a little weakling, and
this is the Buddha attack.
Yeah, it's like what Tenshin Han did, but upgraded.
This is my favorite attack from Buu in this arc. Is this right here? Like, because the symbolism is so unbelievably obvious, but also the way that he just like lets his hands fall off his arms, and then his gloves are just punching by themselves without his arms actually moving is just so unbelievably cool.
It's also very fast.
Yeah, it's just the way he goes about doing this is just so it's one of the most interesting and it's one of the most interesting and unique techniques and attacks that I've seen in Dragon Ball. It really does kind of remind me of like old school Dragon Ball in that sense. Like it's much more martial arts oriented. It's not like a ki blast. It's like a really unique attack on Buu's part. So
yeah, and again, that's why I like Majin Buu, because I'm not saying I don't like Goku and Vegeta, but having them always be the ones that fight can get a little repetitive. I want to see Piccolo do stuff. I want to see, believe it or not, I want to see Yamcha do stuff. I want to see Tenshin Han do stuff. I want to see Buu do stuff. I think that the cast of Dragon Ball, it's become the Goku and Vegeta show. We've talked about this in the past, especially with Super. And I feel like it really needs to push other people, at least, even if it's not the final fight, at least to give us something different.
So this guy compared it to the Guanyin Bosvata,
Trenton
Vata attack. It's funny you say that, because
that's the microphone breaker
trope where this is another trope where in Journey to the West, there's a lot of situations where Wukong and his friends will go to fight a villain, and then they'll have to like go to like a Bodhisattva or a Buddha for help because they're not strong enough to defeat the demon that they're fighting. And this is basically just that. Like it's literally that. Like they're having to rely on like a higher level of entity, a higher level of being a god, so to speak, to come in and help them face this like demonic entity. So it's very interesting that you bring that up because it's very similar to that concept. Uh,
Yeah, and
but
I
yeah,
actually
that's where the hands are like floating. They're
yeah,
like
and they're
punching
just
up the wall.
punching him. I love it, bro. It's
Yeah.
like a rocket punch without the rocket. Remember, Android
Yeah.
16 did that, except this is like multiple copies.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that move in fucking Fighters, bro?
Yeah,
You
that'd be
know?
OP.
Fuck, bro. They need to hurry up and do this arc so we can get that shit in the games, man. They have to upgrade Boo and all these characters with new shit.
Yep.
Okay, Moro's down. Boo's actually about to finish him off. The chapter's almost over, or the volume is almost over. But what ends up happening is the skies go dark, and Porunga it has been awakened. More Namekians are getting killed. Cranberry, or whatever his name is, has summoned the dragon who can grant 3 wishes. And now Moro. Well, now what I love about this is literally. Let's see if y'all picked up on this. I don't know if even you have, but we'll talk about it. This is literally the reverse of what happens on Namek with Frieza. The skies go dark when Goku and Vegeta or Goku and Frieza are fighting. Frieza realizes it and fucking gets the fuck out of there and fucks off and dashes to the dragon to stop it. Meanwhile, Goku is telepathically talking to Kaio. Right here, Moro is telepathically talking to Cranberry about making the wish, bro.
Yeah, I had caught on to this. It's genius.
It's
Yeah,
literally the
I actually
reverse.
think I talked about this when I did my review of the arc. Actually, yeah.
I don't know if I did, but if not, it's here. It's literally like the same thing. The villain is the one doing the telepathic communication to make the wishes. But does this guy speak Namekian? That is the question. So that he goes over the 2 wishes. The 3rd wish is free to use how you see fit. Which remember, people thought for months that it was never used when it was. Remember that? Where's the 3rd wish
I
at?
do remember
bro,
that. Yeah.
it was already revealed 3 chapters ago.
Yeah.
So there's the Namekian translation. You see it right there.
Yeah,
Give Moro back his.
He's using technology to force
To translate.
the little Namekian kid to speak Namekian.
Yep, Rosetta Stone, bro. The Dragon Ball version of Rosetta Stone. So now Moro is getting all of his energy back. Goku can sense it. They're in deep, deep shit now because now Moro's going back to how he was when he was a real problem for the universe.
Yeah.
And his 3rd wish, pick out a nice outlying planet where Frieza's army, the Galactic Patrol, and even Moro won't ever find me and send me. And then, boom, Moro gored him, bro. I love it. Oh, man. Why can't the anime version... This is a great fucking volume, bro. This is one of my favorite volumes of the entire Super era. I really wish that the anime version actually showed all this gore.
I hope they do, yeah. It'd be nice.
Fuck, man. Fuck. It's fucking good. This is better than I remembered. Legit. So he's got 1 wish remaining, and he's going to talk into it. You know, what is your final wish? And he's like, I wonder if you can grant this one. So, meanwhile, they're trying to get there to find Moro. And then here we go. The kid spoke up. Excellent. All 3 wishes are granted. Hey, Geekdom, when's Moro going to make his 3rd wish, Geekdom? When's Moro going to make... I got that shit ever. I'm like, dude, did you not read? It's right there. Yeah. So the dragon is gone. The 3rd wish is made. He didn't reveal what it was, though, yet. And let's see. They're just freaking out. And Moro's like, you already know my 1st wish. What else did you wish for? And he's like, you'll know soon enough. The great Lord of Lords and his companions have caught up. Talking about Buu. And now he wants to go and slaughter more people. And then here Majin Buu says his magic power is back, but that's different from pure strength, which is what I've been talking about nonstop on this fucking stream. That's why he'll try to eat up the whole planet now. Yeah, so he can get real strength. Buu heals this Namekian kid who was killed by, or almost killed, by Moro. Because remember, Buu can also heal. The whole planet is shaking because Moro's about to have his fucking din.
Yep.
They're over here, and then bam, like Majin Buu shifts back into being the Daikaio. A
Yep.
pleasure to meet you all. Until Moro is defeated, I'll be taking Buu's place. That's a new ability.
Yeah, dude. I freaked out so hard when I saw this because the Grand
That's
Supreme Kai
new.
didn't have a huge role in Dragon Ball Z, and to see
No,
him
not
have
at all.
and to see him like come back and have a bigger role was just like something I wasn't expecting, and it was so amazing. I loved it. Like I really like genuinely loved it.
Yeah, this is way cooler than I remembered. Or maybe I did like it and just forgot. It's been fucking 6 years or whatever, bro. It's
Yeah,
been
it's
a
been a
while.
long time.
A lot of stuff has happened since then. So now Goku and Vegeta are about to teleport off the planet because it's about to get eaten. And then now we have a flashback here to planet. Oh, this is actually, I think this is the end. Yeah, this
This
is
is a
the end.
bonus. This is a
This is
bonus.
the
Chapter.
bonus chapter, right? Flashback to the end of the Saiyan saga. I actually don't remember. Oh, this is the flashback to what happened on Namek. Yeah,
Well, it's
that's all
Cranberry
that
Festival.
is. Oh, yeah, that's right. I totally forgot about this, bro. I mean, again, it's been
Yeah.
6 years. He got arrested. So it's the same Cranberry from the Frieza saga. I
Yep.
completely forgot it was the same guy.
Yep.
You know,
Same
there's
guy.
there's another one. There's another one named Blueberry also. I actually totally forgot it was the same guy.
Yep.
Okay, that volume was actually tremendous.
Yeah.
That's one of the best ones we've done. Like for Super, like I said, doesn't
Yeah.
compare to the old shit, but for Super, that was one hell of a fucking volume. I
Yep.
am way more excited to see how this plays out when the anime comes back or the
Me
anime
too.
version.
Yeah, me too. The anime I think is
Yeah.
going to be great. Yeah.
We got a couple more super chats before we get out of here. Supreme Kai for the $5 holla. There's so many creative directions you can go with this Buu that was missed out since the Buu arc. Yes, we got cucked twice, but they actually did right this time. Kiryu says with Moro that comes true. Moro that comes true. Everyone gets involved. The entire end is the past villains helping defeat the representation of their sins.
I could. There's something to that, but I would say the ending is a little bit more nuanced to that. But we'll get to it when we get to it. I mean, the ending's
Because
quite a bit
it's
away.
yeah, I think he talking about like the fact that it's Oob, Majin Buu, Vegeta all kind of helping. Is that
Yeah,
what he's
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about?
Basically, the whole entire point of the ending is that the entire reason that Goku survives that exchange with Moro is because he treats Moro the same way that he treated all the other villains that are there to help him. So essentially, like it kind of makes Goku look bad at first because Moro gets stronger, blah 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 blah. Like it kind of makes it, of course, him having mercy backfires at first, but then when all of the people that he had mercy on previously like come in and help, it's supposed to show you why that always ends up working out for Goku is the fact that that attitude, that the same attitude that he practiced towards Moro is the same reason that all those characters were there to help him defeat Moro in the end. So yes, there is something to that for sure. Oh, you're muted, by the way,
Oh,
Danny.
I'm sorry. I when I blow my nose, I mute. What only thing I was saying is they're missing Frieza, and they could have figured out a way to get him involved, but it might have been too much of a shoehorn, so they left
Yeah,
him out.
I agree.
And then you have True Gold Germ. Plus, don't forget that Frieza had a big role in the Tournament of Power also, so he helped there. That's it. Jordan, I really like this volume, man. This got to be one of my favorite volumes of all time for the Super era, like legit. A
Yeah,
lot of
this
cool
one was
stuff
really
happened.
fun. This one was
Hmm.
really fun, but I actually think the next volume might be my favorite volume. The
Yeah, it's the
training
training
arc,
one. Yeah.
yeah, the training arc might be my favorite, but I'll reassess it when we get there. So
Goku going to the Room of Spirit and Time, and then Vegeta training with the Ardrats, learning instantaneous movement shit.
yeah, and we have something interesting to talk about whenever we get to that room of spirit and time. I'll go ahead and talk about it a little bit, but I was
I've got
doing
a whole
Dragon Ball.
video.
I was doing Dragon Ball Infinity at that time. Okay. And
Right.
3 months before that arc or that room of spirit and time was revealed, I revealed a room of spirit and time in my manga that was a pyramid and looked like almost exactly like what Toyotaro. Basically, what I'm saying is 3 months before we saw that pyramid room of spirit and time, I put out a pyramid room of spirit and time in my fan manga that looked almost exactly the same. So when I saw that, I was like, oh my, like that's part of the reason I love the Moro arc so much, because I was doing fan manga at the time, and there was like a lot of parallels between what I was doing in my fan manga and what was happening in the Moro arc. But whenever we actually do like when we go into the actual time chamber, I'll show you guys the image of like my the time chamber that I designed, and you guys can see for yourself. It's pretty wild that it ended up working out that way. There was literally like 3 months between when I revealed my time chamber and when his came out. So it's just wild.
That's wild. That is wild. You're like the Oracle. I'm the reverse Oracle because I'm the guy who in 2015 said Broly's never coming back, Trunks is never coming back. Yeah, boy, was I totally off my rocker, bro. And I'm pretty sure I said throughout the years that I don't think we're ever going to see Super Saiyan 4 again. I wasn't entirely wrong on that because Daima 4 is not the same as GT 4, but Dragon Ball is so... I said it before, bro, you can't predict. It's very hard to predict what's going to happen because they always do something that's out of left field, and it's never what you think. People are still thinking there's going to be a cooler
it's very
movie.
Toriyama-like, like Toriyama likes to do the opposite of what you expect, and it's really ironic that the opposite of what you expect in this case would be them bringing back Broly and doing an evil Goku and everything that you mentioned. It's really interesting.
Yeah, no, and Trunks and evil, exactly. Anyways, we're out of here, y'all. Take care, have a good one, and we'll catch you in the next one.